Welcome back. We are here for the Between Darkened Mirrors, episode 20. So, just going to do my usual and ask the hunters what they remember from last time they played. Because we did not have Bob last time, so we missed you, and hopefully you remember something of where Bob was. Oh, I remember. I believe he was with Calliope, and so yeah, we can go from there.
Lord James Campbell-Hughes and I need to change my name. Lord James Campbell-Hughes and Sir Anthony were trying to go visit the person who turned into this giant bug insect. But when we got there, the circus already like boxed them up, and so we followed him and confronted the circus ringleader and asked for us to take a look at him because Sir Anthony hadn't had a chance to like give him a once over, and he got quite a few clues, and then we skedaddled. The person seemed okay, but it's the circus is they're setting him up for the main event, and there may be another there may be a spider like him, which is kind of weebie jeebies. But anyways, um, and then we sorted out what we think is going on with the Creature of Cremorne Gardens.
Whitmore went down to the Limehouse district and checked in with Jenny Johnston's ghost, learning a little bit about how ghosts operate, um, as well as being given an ominous clue about the opium den, returning close to the end of day phase at the beginning of dusk to retrieve the family crest of the Johnston clan and attempt to cook Jenny Johnston's remaining relatives an honest to God Asian meal. And Whitmore would have brought noodle soup back for the rest of Hargrave House.
I believe Victor had a conversation with Lord James Campbell-Hughes on the way to St. Michael's. They talked about um, the the slowly looming threat that Hargrave House is about to face, and Lord James Campbell-Hughes checked in with Victor to see if any of the other great monster hunting families have a legacy here and there they could spare for London. And then Victor got dropped off at Saint at the church where he went to a confessional for the first time in his life. He asked about what the priest knew about the weird bug situation that is part tied to the circus, part tied to um, like religious deities. We wanted to get some insight on that. And at the end of the conversation, Victor wanted some guidance. Since he was already there, he might as well guidance on his worries about bringing in a new legacy into the world. Um, the priest gave some very good advice, so Victor tipped him for his time.
Doc, did you have any thoughts to add about anything um, from time you were with Calliope, or just faded into the background?
I think just faded into the background.
Okay.
Probably telling stories to my horse. I think that
Oh,
fits most.
okay. Well, considering that we were getting ready to enter into night phase, unfortunately, sir, I need you to roll the quickening.
Totally fine and good. I'm sure it's gonna go super well. Say sensitivity. Oh, it's been way too long. Yep. Okay. So, hey, that's a 10.
Okay. Your body is stronger and faster, and you manage to keep the quickening in check. You roll with advantage when taking action that uses vitality until the next dawn phase. All right. So you're good. Well, I mean, you didn't have a chance to get rid of Drain from last time,
Yeah.
so it's faster, but you're still kind of feeling wonky. I mean, maybe the the fact that you were maybe because you were closer to your condition, to your cursed condition, that you were still not quite up to snuff. But you're
Mhm.
you still can take advantage on your rolls using vitality. Yep. Okay. So hopefully we'll give you an opportunity for that. All right. So let's clarify who's going where for the night phase.
I think I'm going to investigate the Wraith at the
Okay.
theater. In typical Doc fashion, the idea is to follow where it seems like it would be a bad idea to be, just to really be guided by the bad vibes in the air.
Victor will be going to the circus.
Okay.
Lord James is going to Madame Tussauds to get an idol, and I believe of the merfolk, the fish people, and I believe I'm swapping it for like that scrimshaw or something. I can't remember what I'm swapping it for, but then coming back to the river and using the hymn book to call the creatures and then give them the idol and say so long and thanks for participating.
Okay. Did you want to say, because I thought you were going to mark off one of your RECs to just have Scotland Yard or the Scotland Yard contact, like just grab and go, in the
You're
interest
absolutely
of
right. That way, you keep it legit, and we're not doing. Yeah, I remember no bandit mask,
no
uh,
bandit mask,
no smash and grabs,
no
but
smash and grabs.
right, stolen property, and so yeah, we were gonna get. That's right. Did I
Yeah.
already check it? If I didn't, I will.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I don't remember if you did or not. But yeah, I mean, like, so basically you utilize, what is her name? Like, Lady Winifred, I believe. Yep, Lady Winifred. Wheatley
I
Grainsworth.
I have not checked it because I only have
Okay.
one checked, and that's Sir Anthony. So
Okay.
I will check that for her.
Okay, great. So basically you can assume, because I think you guys rolled really damn well last time.
I don't know
Yeah,
what we got, but I think it was higher than 12.
it was definitely, hold on. Yep, 13. Fun, fun, fun. Okay. So, yeah, like, so we'll assume that at the beginning of night phase that you've spoken to Lady Winifred and then you've had her Scotland Yard contacts, of course, go in, what is it, a warrant or something to grab the idol thing. And then, like, we'll assume you have it at the beginning of night phase. Okay?
Oh, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah. No, I just remember that distinctly because I remember you were like, I don't want to go through that. And then Whitmore.
Whitmore is going to be warming up his singing pipes with the Book of Hymns, that's accompanying Lord James Campbell-Hughes, and ensuring that there's an accurate head count of Scotland Yard members so that tea can be appropriately distributed.
And then for the unseen for this evening, it was picked out the tarot card reading of Ms. Lydia Wainwright. So give me a second. I'm just going to do that. So, Lydia Wainwright is a young woman of 19, born into a respectable family. Her mother has commanded her to marry Edgar Thornton, the son of a wealthy industrialist, but her heart belongs to Samuel, a poor but very handsome chimney sweep. Lydia has snuck off into the night to the home of a fortune teller, seeking guidance on the matter. So everybody's been assigned prompts, and just remember the point of doing the unseen during the night phase. You're aiming to thematically tie or sensually tie the unseens to the hunter's scenes in some way. It does not have to be yours, matchy. It just has to be something where you can recall a tie together and then getting that echo and night point. Although I think you guys are like pretty high up on the advancement scale, so this is for fictional positioning. How about that? There we go. Alrighty. So paint the scene is the first prompt, and this is for everyone. As Lydia enters the home of the fortune teller, what do we see that shows this place has real magic?
The room is surprisingly barren for a fortune teller. There aren't all the trappings of a normal fortune teller, nothing to convince you that the magic is real because the fortune teller does not need to convince you. There's a simple crystal ball on the table, and and a deck of tarot cards. That's about it.
If you look closely at the crystal ball, you can see flickering images, and it looks like um, what's her name? What's the name of the fortune teller? Does she have a name? She may not. It looks like the fortune teller is preparing to use the crystal ball to watch a show tonight, because we see the inside of a theater with the curtains closed. But you have to look close, and you can see people starting to seat themselves, or ushers are taking people to their seats. But unless you were really close to this crystal ball, you wouldn't be able to see it.
My detail is also easy to miss. I think at the back of the room, just kind of blending in with the stuff on the walls, just regular decorations. There's like a kind of hand and a half sword up on a mantle, kind of like on a plaque, as it were, with two kind of embellished fake gold hooks holding it up. And you can't tell from the front, but if you go to the side, it's very apparent that the sword is just by 3/4 of an inch, maybe floating above and away from all of the surfaces that should be holding it on the plaque. So it's slightly levitating. And if the door's open too long and a stiff breeze blows in, it'll wobble.
We see I think kind of just strewn to like the side of a room is this like velvety purple looking cloak, and just on top of the cloak, there's no sticky notes in time, so I guess it's just like a piece of paper put on the cloak, and it says return to Merlin on Monday.
Wonderful. All right, Lord James, we're going to start with you. So you managed to get the particular idol from Lady Winifred, who got it from Madame Tussauds upon your request. What does this idol look like again? I forget.
I think it's a very stylized stone idol, but it's a stylized um, like kind of what we would think of what a mermaid would look like,
Mm-hmm.
where it's very humanoid on the top and very fish-like on the bottom, and but it's made out of a hefty stone. It's actually, Paul, the exact same mermaid idol that was in the Mermaid's Grotto from the Owl Beyond the Mist.
Right. So, and you take this to the docks where you all last met with the creature.
Yeah, where the boat was overturned, and I'm not sure who all else is here. Whitmore's definitely here, and I don't know if Mr. Knox is his name. I think it's Knox, Abel Knox.
Yeah.
He might be with us as well with a lantern.
Oh, do you know what you be trucking with, sir? I mean, it was a bit of a spot of bother the last time you were here. You sure you're gonna be okay?
We think we've got it, but listen, man, if it looks like it's going the wrong direction and we have somehow angered these aquatic people, we want you to run and run quickly.
Oh,
Away.
Specifically to Hargrave House.
You-
12 Belgrave Square.
you think it would come to them coming up on land and having their way?
Hopefully not. Hopefully we can deal with this out on the docks.
And he
But
just nods vigorously. Mm-hmm.
You let me you let me and Whitmore go first, and you just hold the lantern and stay vigilant.
Indeedy, I do, sir. And so, as he's raising the lantern, he's stepping way back. So, what are you guys doing to bring the creature forth?
Whitmore would pull out and open up the book of hymns and attempt to sing, because that's gone so well every time he's attempted to sing for a threat.
Sure, go for it. Night move, please. What do you think will go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve?
I know it's not very threatening, but I think this would be great. Whitmore loses his voice in the process of singing. Not like, oh, my voice is raw. Like Whitmore just can't speak for the rest of until the creature's gone. Like he just loses it to a fey creature, a fey water creature. Yeah.
Maybe your pipes aren't made for this sort of thing. Maybe when you try to do this, you don't realize that you're creating a spell that needs you to sing this underwater, and you start to choke because you don't realize that you're essentially giving yourself, well, gills. So,
I'm sure Lord James Campbell-Hughes would still love me even if I had gills.
I think that's an asset.
more aquatic adventure, absolutely. So,
Yes.
yeah, do you have anything? Do you want to use anything? I don't believe you have any conditions.
No, I do not. But I do have a harpsichord, which I don't probably have the harpsichord here, but have in from my personal quarters. Have played the harpsichord and sung
Yeah,
just a bit.
sure. Okay, so take that for advantage, and then roll 3d6, and then take the two highest with um sensitivity, please.
That's going to be a 9.
Okay. You start to, from what you can tell of this, I mean, it does look like musical notes, and then you try to read it out as best as you can. I think as you're singing, it's like there's a light, like in the middle of the area where you were before. Like it just shows up very dimly, and then it starts to get stronger and stronger as you sing further and further, but it's not coming any closer. It's just forming, like, in the middle of that patch further out. Um,
Out in the middle of the lake or the
mm,
river.
yeah, it's not coming any closer.
Whitmore would look at Lord James Campbell-Hughes while singing and then look and nod at the boat as if suggesting we should probably go out to meet it halfway.
Okay, Mr. Knox, keep the light steady while I untie this boat and keep singing Whitmore. It appears to be doing something. And I'm leading Whitmore to the boat and taking one of the oars and hooking the lantern on an iron hook at the back end of the boat and telling Mr. Knox to stand by as witness, sir.
Yep. And he will. Best of luck to you, sir. Okay. As you're making your way to the glowing light in the middle of the Thames, I think this is where we're going to, shine the glow onto Doc. How are you approaching the theater? Are you going after, like, the performance, or are you going during the performance? Um, it's a bit half-hearted ever since that terrible event happened. Um, I'll say a week ago because I can't remember exactly how we did it in game time. But I mean, yeah, I mean, people are still remembering the lassos, the nooses.
Right.
So, are you going? Are you like during?
As far as we know, it sounds to me, if I'm remembering correctly, like most of the spooky ghost things have happened during performances. Is that true?
That is true.
I
Although, yeah, although I think no, actually, you know what? I mean, nothing that anybody really noticed this past time, but I think Victor had gone during a performance, but he was all up in the gods, so like nobody really saw anything from down below.
Okay, well, just to have balance then, I will go after. I'm going to sneak into the theater or break in or talk my way in
Okay.
sometime after a performance.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, like I think you know, Miss Lily will Miss Devere will know you as one of Hargrave House's hunters, um, and then probably say it's like, "Ugh, the take wasn't very good this evening, and it hasn't been since the tragic incident before. I might have to I might have to close down, sell sell the theater."
I'm mighty sorry to hear it, ma'am. But me and my friends kick around your theater a bit longer. Maybe we can help turn your luck around.
I do hope so. I do hope so, Mr. McBain. Uh, you are welcome as always to see what you can discover. I mean, I just worry about the safety of my crew.
Of course, my chief concern as well. To that effect, over the next few hours, if you hear any excessively loud noises, particularly hooting and hollering is how I'd refer to it, just instruct your staff to kind of stay out. Don't get too deep into the theater. I wouldn't want any kind of accidents like we've already seen happening again. And I won't really know what I'm dealing with until I'm dealing with it. That makes sense.
Understood. I mean, if anything, I've been trying to get them to retire to across the way to the bar to just not stay uh, stay too long after the performances are over. We can always clean up in the morning, but nighttime seems to be very dangerous. So,
Right, you are. Right, you are. That's absolutely that's absolutely the case. And again, I'm only afeared that one of y'all get caught in the crossfire. So if everyone else is across the street at the bar, much the better. In fact, if I have any follow-up questions based on what I run into, maybe I'll pop over there myself.
best of luck to you. And then she will, motion to her people that are finishing up, and then she'll kind of like herd them out as best as possible.
Yep. Doc
Yeah.
tips his hat and then does that like awkward pantomime of like mouthing goodbye to people when they're all leaving a room kind of under instructions, but you're staying in that room
Mm.
also under instructions. Like, yeah, see, you guys have a good night.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you have the run of the theater, basically. I mean, like, there's the stage, there's the foyer, there's the, you know, back rooms, the
Mhm.
boxes, and then there's also the gods where Victor was trying to chase, like, literally chase after the Wraith.
I think the doc is going to start center stage.
Hmm.
He's got an innate sense of theatrics, and both for the bit and also just because that's kind of like how we've established when Doc is using anything that falls under sensitivity, it's more like in the uh his like tradition rather of like Appalachian dowsers, water dowsers.
Hmm.
So it just looks kind of like someone except instead of two sticks of like willow branches or copper rods, it's just like again a big open sign for trouble coming at him. So I think he's gonna get on stage and I think just like start making noise. Uh, Probably starts as your kind of standard like any ghosts or ghoulies up there, but then maybe devolves into like Doc just like stomping on the stage in his boots, making a bunch of noise to see if he can draw the attention of the Wraith.
Night
Or
move.
see if like that brings him inspiration. Like if he hears maybe a mop fall off stage, he goes, okay, something's happening.
Well, I mean, like, okay, so like it'll be one of two things.
Mhm.
If you're trying to instigate or incite the wraith, then I'm calling night move. But if you're actually trying to investigate in some way, you can do information.
Um, I think that at the very least, because this is the first thing Doc's doing when walking in, it's more of an investigation. It's more like, okay, if I'm looking at a big metaphorical curtain that I can't see behind because ghosts are invisible,
Sure.
I'm gonna start poking at the curtain, and if I see movement in response, I go, okay, cool, maybe I go that direction.
Okay. Fair enough. Alrighty. So go ahead and roll information move with conceivably reason. I mean, like I'll even accept sensitivity because you're kind of like a little intuition here. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna pitch sensitivity. That's where both my strong suit is, and kind of like that's what Doc would do. Doc, this would look more like nonsensical to the outside observer as opposed to like very considered detective work.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay, rolled. That is a 9.
This will be your clue as well as your complication. So I think when you're like prodding the curtain and just kind of making your way up on the stage, I think even though this is a very heavy brocade velvet, pattern or whatever, I think as you're approaching the middle of the stage, middle of the curtains, you will see almost like it blowing as if either there's a very strong wind or somebody is pushing against it as you're making your way on stage.
Oh, perfect. That's the direction I go then.
Okay. Do you part the curtains?
Um, I mean, yeah, that is exactly what Doc would do.
Okay.
Is my excuse for why I'm making that decision and taking whatever happens after.
And of course, the sinister music comes on because what you find behind the curtains when you part them is the severed head of a patron used as an impromptu vase for a dozen red roses coming out of their mouth.
Oh no.
Right there in the middle of the stage.
As a vase.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
heck of a clue.
I put it in the West End Wraith.
Thank you.
And I think you hear laughter coming from above.
Oh boy. Um, okay.
That is what happens
Hmm.
to those that provide an obstacle between me and my love. You hear echoing from above you, around you, even under you for some weird reason.
Boy, howdy.
Boy, howdy.
Okay. I think that now is when Doc antagonizes the spirit. And again, I'm putting it that way on purpose.
Yep.
I am having a hard time pulling the trigger on these decisions because every like instinct I have is saying no. But I think Doc would pull out the small, slightly charged vampire skull that he has and would go, that's just ahead. That doesn't scare me, and you can't do anything to me. Now, why don't you come out and we can figure something? And he's waving the skull around like it could, brandishing it is exactly the verb.
Gonna call night move before I move on to Victor.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve?
I think that the ghost will, I mean, vaguely, the ghost will do something to me. The thing that comes to mind is like possess me or get inside my brain or soul. That seems pretty like like an escalation, right? Like a ghost shows you, hey, I can take a head off of someone, and you go, I don't care. I also have a skull. And he goes, okay, I'm gonna like make your soul bleed.
I think he's going to kick it up a notch. So like if you're going skull for head, I think he's going to go for your head as he releases something that is like a ballast or something like that to try and take your head off. That'll
Where
swing
is it?
towards you and take your head off, basically. Give me the roll first, and then we'll cut back to you after.
For sure. What
Sorry.
skill should
Vitality, because you're going to be trying to avoid what the Wraith does next.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Don't forget your advantage.
And then the disadvantage from drain canceling out.
Yeah,
You know,
sorry.
it's okay. So the way this is structured, then my goading the spirit works for sure. That's not the thing we're rolling for. We're rolling. Am I gonna get my head hit by something very big moving very quickly? Okay.
Yes.
It would appear that I am, because I rolled a 4.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you what happens before you decide what you want to do.
Okay.
What happens is that you're standing there, you're brandishing your vampire Yorick skull, and yeah, you hear a discernible sneer from the Wraith, and it's essentially saying what I just said, which was a skull for a head. A head for a head. And then you hear like what sounds like something being chopped, and then like a heavy sandbag ballast or something like that comes crashing down from the rafters, from the gods, and goes right for your head. And we're going to cut over to Victor. Victor, you make your approach to the circus. Yeah. So the big top is in full force. Everything's erected, everything's beautifully appointed, lit up in the ways that they know how for a complete spectacle. There are many people here eager to see what wonders they have to show, especially from the flyers that they gave out earlier. And they are like, do you try to sneak in, or are you like going in like a patron, like, with a ticket and all that kind of stuff? What do you think?
I think that almost all legacies love the circus because circuses hate legacies because they cannot like cheat them out of any games. They're too strong, they're too accurate. Even if bottles are glued down to the table, they'll still hit them incredibly hard, and it doesn't matter. It's not even like they figure out the trick of the games. They're just too superhuman for it to really affect them in any way. So right now, I think Victor's plan is to just enjoy the circus for a bit after his horrible night with the Wraith. He just wants to do an investigation while getting one over the circus people every now and then just for chuckles, giving like small children the things he wins. And as he does this, he's kind of just like also like antagonizing the games people because he just tells them like, so I know that the hammer isn't really heavy enough to get this all the way up there, but really the issue there is people are just not hitting it hard enough in the right spot. And then Victor just dings that bell and then gives it to the child again. And I think he's just like talking to everyone. Like once he gives a child a toy, he'll talk to like the family they're with. It's like, isn't the circus grand? Sure. Manticores aren't huge here, but the lions and the bears are entertainment enough. Am I right? And talks to the family. And just kind of having a time at the circus to himself while trying to suss out like, are these people being brainwashed? Are they is anyone disappearing? We're already here. And just kind of just like trying to like talking to the carnival people. It's like, so what's really going on here? Arcane ritual? What's happening? Just like talking to everyone.
Oh man, I want to introduce you to so many people.
Of course,
now.
Yes, yeah.
I think I think in your forays among the carnival type games in the front of the circus, like in the periphery, I think you will start to see or start to notice there's a young lady, probably like around 8 years old or something like that, and she's dressed very well, so she looks like she's a young lady of privilege, and she is watching you. She approaches some of the games, but she's one of the spectators that's admiring, like your prowess. And then she will approach you after you do like one of the last games, which is something like with the hammer and such. The workers are either alternately smiling at you with a very wide, very toothy grin, like, "It's wonderful that you're here, sir." Or they are like kind of like keeping that smile plastered on their face, but it's almost like the mask slips,
Mm-hmm.
right? But this young lady, she is again dressed very well, so she looks like she's well to do. Um, and she looks like she's holding what looks like one of those flat lollipops,
Mm-hmm.
flat lollies. And then she just kind of skips over to you and says, "This is wonderful." She smells like taxidermy and formaldehyde. "You are doing so well, sir. The moths are all gossip today. They say you are a dog in disguise. But I don't smell dog on you. You smell like a spy." And she licks her lolly.
Hello there, dear madame. It's very nice to meet you. I am Victor Armstrong. Never been called a dog before. Um, I don't believe my family's crest really has an animal on it. It only has I forget what it is, but I know it's dead. That's basically what our crest is. Um, you, my lady, you smell strange. Also, are your parents? Do they work in a morgue? Can you play with the bodies? What's
Oh,
with you,
no.
young lady?
Oh, no. I get along wonderfully with
Hmm.
people and animals
Hmm.
and things.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And she kind of does like one of those cute little curtsies. She says, "I am the Lady Matilda Wells."
Well, my lady Matilda Wells, I unfortunately have come tonight um by myself, and I was looking for a companion to explore the circus with. Would you be open to that? And Victor bows deeply, my lady.
And she takes your hand. "Oh, that would be wonderful. I think I have the box seat in the front. So if you would like to be my companion, I would be honored to have you as my escort."
It would
Licks her lolly.
be my pleasure. And Victor in his head goes, ah, yes, the creepy child. Always follow the creepy child.
Oh, the creepy child is skipping ahead and then dragging you with her.
Yeah, of course. It's like if there's you always look for the one. Enter the village, creepy child, every time.
Yeah. And I think she will like literally lead you to uh the like where people are milling about. They're starting to go into the big top and such. Let me see description. Give me a second. Grand, all encompassing, both shadowy and celebratory. A thunderhead of a tent, irresistible in its way, creeping the web of Darwin's bark spider. I think when Lady Wells brings you into the tent, she will, she's pretty strong for an 8 and 1/4 year old. So, like, she's dragging you along, and she will start lick her lolly and say, "Oh, I see a companion of mine. Wait here. Wait here and I will come back and bring them over to you. All right? Hold on.
Of
Wait, wait,
course.
wait."
Mm-hmm.
And she skips over to a fellow who looks probably around your age. Looks kind of shifty though. Like he's kind of like frightened out of his skin, like every time somebody kind of gets near him or whatever. But he sees Matilda, and then he will start to follow her. But I think as this is happening, I think at your elbow, you'll hear a voice speaking to you from behind you, and she says, "Ah, misfits are welcome at the circus. You would shine if you joined us."
Circus performances is something I am not. I've been involved with before. Some circuses end up with creatures they do not understand a lot of the time. And we, people in my profession, end up having to clean up after such mistakes that these people make.
Oh, there's no mistake. When you turn
Hmm.
around, you will see this very tall woman with golden skin. Um, she's got swirled pattern tattoos, and she's kind of like wearing like a ringmaster's vest and coat, and she's wearing the trousers and boots, and she kind of like tips this gaily striped hat that she has on her head. "Manasa Nitya, I am the circus owner and ringmaster of this Cirque National. Welcome."
It
And she
is
kind
my
of like
pleasure.
smiles at you. Yep, she smiles at you, and then when she smiles, like she lets her tongue come out, and you can see it's a split tongue.
Ooh, was that on purpose or did that just kind of
Yes.
happen? Yes. Okay.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, you seem very impressive. I'm sure you are a hit with all the people who come in here. Very striking.
My only desire is to increase the renown of my cirque. All press is good press,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it, Clarence? And she waves the person over who was talking with Matilda. And again, this is the jumpy guy with the shifty eyes. And he kind of comes over nodding, and it's like he's got that starstruck look on his face, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yes, I mean, this is this is this is absolutely wonderful. I I I can't wait to write more about what you have for the spectacle, for the grand show tonight." "Patience, patience. It will be coming quite soon. I see you've met Matilda, Lady Wells," and she makes this deep, elaborate bow. "I welcome you back for the show. You will be staying, of course, Mr.
Armstrong. Victor Armstrong.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Well, Mr. Armstrong, I hope you will decide to stay as well as stay with us. You would shine. You would shine so bright and so beautiful with us. May,
I
may I show you something to hopefully convince you of how brightly you would shine?"
Oh, of course. Sure. Show me anything you feel like is interesting or up my alley. I'm just here to have a good night. I'm not here for any other reasons, really. But if you
Lady
want,
Matilda pipes up and says, "He smells like a spy."
oh, Matilda, we're companions, Matilda.
He's sitting with me after you show him stuff. And Manisa is, yes, yes, yes. Just a moment. Children.
Yes.
And she will like put a hand gently on your back and then like lead you into like a back part of the tent. Again, they seem to be dragging out like the big box that they have Umin, but you don't know that because it's covered over.
Yeah.
And then there's another box, but it's taller and bigger that's being brought in as well. So, I mean, obviously the show's getting ready to start, but nothing has started just yet. And she brings you to this back room or back partition, whatever. But it's when you enter this place, it's almost as if sound has gotten deadened, even though it doesn't seem like the partitions or the fabric of the tent has gotten any thicker. And this place just seems to absorb sound. What you see here stands a warped mirror, quiet and alone, reflecting only you. For some reason, you don't see Manisa, and then when you take a look at your side or behind you, she has disappeared. You are left alone with this mirror. The mirror is warped, reflecting only you. You are its only audience, and present events do not seem so urgent anymore. How do you know that this reflection is a version of you from another world, and that if you touch it, you will be replaced by a facsimile of yourself?
I think it is a version of Victor from another world. I always like other versions of characters to, like, you know how in fighting games there's just like alternate skins you can put on. So this Victor has blonde hair. He just the I feel like Victor's color palette is like very like dark browns and blacks, and this person, I think it's just kind of very stark jet black. And instead of two hatchets, he has a large spear on his back.
What is the expression on your devil's face?
I think I think it's it I think both of us mirror each other because there isn't a lot of opportunities you get in a legacy's life to fight yourself. And it's something we all look forward to at some point in doing.
Good, because I was going to give you a night move on this. So, again, you're being drawn in, and nothing seems so important except to fight this person. He will replace you if you touch this mirror, but you both seem to be raring to go for a fight. So, to resist the urge, or to, make sure that he doesn't replace you, night move, please. What do you think will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I think what's going to happen is I think the reflection reacts quicker than Victor does. Both of them having the same plan of just tossing their respective weapons at the image. And we will see glass shatter as a spear appears in Victor's chest. And from the shattered glass, the other version of Victor would appear.
The only way I'm going to make it worse is the fact that when this happens, it's like time shifts, And so when you have the spear in your chest, it'll end up where the mirror image or your alternate
Yeah.
self will be coming out of the tent and going to see um, Lady Wells and
Hmm.
Clarence and such, and then we'll only see in the mirror you prone on the ground, excuse me, supine on the
Yes.
ground with the spear through your chest in
Hmm.
the reflection
Yeah.
in a very intact mirror.
Hmm. Very good.
Do you want to use anything for this?
For this in particular,
Yeah,
uh,
personal quarters item to give you advantage or anything like that?
yeah, I think I think we see both images check off something on their bucket list for after the beast is slain. And we look closer at this bucket list, and it's kind of like a bucket list, but it's a list of things to do with is Victor's list of things to do with his future child when they're born, if they're born. And one of them is teach them how to fight a alternate version of yourself. Um, and he like underlines it, being like, yeah, it of course it, yeah. In the future,
Nice.
I will look forward to that. And above it is go to circus.
God. Okay, sorry. So yeah, 3d6, take the two highest and roll with sensitivity because this is way sensitive.
All right. That's gonna be a 13.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, sir, you can totally tell me, like, how this plays out.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we first see Victor looking into the mirror of his alternate versions of himself, and the camera goes changes perspective, so it looks like the two images are looking at each other, kind of like the screen in the middle is split between them. And then Victor, we see them both grab for their weapons, but just because Victor's are hatchets and theirs is a spear, that's mechanically his is a faster motion. We see the hatchet kind of like break between the two halves of the screen, kind of breaking through like comic book panels almost, and it hits the alternate version of himself that falls to the ground. Um, this would be supine because it would fall backwards.
Yes.
Yep. And it falls to the ground, and then the camera shifts again, and Victor is looking at the mirror, but now he is just looking at himself holding both his hatchets.
Yes. And I think from behind the mirror, you hear clapping. Bravo! Bravo! And out from behind the mirror is a woman dressed in a burgundy hood and cloak, and she's smiling at you with her young old smile. Mr. Armstrong, correct?
What gave it away?
Your prowess. And Daniel, the first two cards drawn in the 5-card spread are the Lovers and the Ace of Wands, the latter of which is typically associated with passion. Speaking in the voice of the fortune teller, begin telling Lydia what you see in the cards.
When she flips over the lovers, um, Lydia Wainwright has like a slight gasp, and the fortune teller makes like a tut tut sound, like don't don't be blushing, Lydia, as though this card is vulgar to your young eyes. It's not what you think it is. This merely indicates that you have a very big decision before you. It doesn't imply that my job here is done, and the answer to your question is you shall fall in the arms in love with this man. No. Let's take a look at the next card. The next card is the Ace of Wands, and it's just like a hand holding like a club. And she says, and clearly your decision is going to be affected by your passion, by his passion. It's unknown, but this is just merely the first two cards, and it's setting the stage for what comes next. And then she reaches to take another card.
All right, Doc. So yeah, this this big sandbag ballast is falling straight for your head. Do you run with that, or do you put on a mask?
If I run with that,
Mm-hmm.
will I die?
Hmm.
I'm no expert in physics, but I have an inkling that like a full sand ballast drop from the top of a, system straight onto someone's head could kill them.
Right. But you're kind of infused right now with your, you know, very close to your curse. So hmm, if you do not want to use a mask, what I'm going to say is your curse will start to manifest.
That actually sounds super cool. I would like to roll with that, please.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, originally a miss like would cause you to die, but I think your curse like wants to save you from that. So tell me, how does your curse indicate? Nope, we're not going with that at all. Like what kind of changes does your mind and your body make?
Um, I think mind-wise, it's either or and or either one of these are a combination of both. Doc's conscious human brain getting kind of pushed to the back, or just Doc becoming more feral, like all of the kind of sights and sounds going on around him become a lot louder and kind of are triggering more immediate responses. And as far as physical changes, there are two ways I'm thinking of going with it. Um, I think the creepier one is probably what I should go with it, which is like Doc gets hit full in the face with a sandbag and it
Mm-hmm.
like knocks him to the ground and it fully breaks his neck. Like
Mm.
and then just like really sick popping noises as Doc's like fingers dig into the wood of the stage, and he like hunches back up and then like cracks his head back into place as he like maybe seems to be snarling a bit. The light reflecting off of his eyes like it would off of like a cat's in a photograph.
You might hear with your preternatural senses at this point that, maybe there's food or sustenance across the street. A whole bar full of humans. So I encourage you to think about this because I will make you roll night move to see if you can resist the urge to go after the humans you hear.
And
I
I
will need to
imagine
put on a mask.
that would be with reason or composure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
serious composure.
Okay, composure. If I rather, could I use something from my personal quarters to get advantage on the roll? Specifically, I'm thinking, and this is why I need to ask, because it's a bit of a interpretation thing, I guess. I have this pocket Bible with a bullet inside from the very, very start of the game. And I've always imagined that bullet is like a slug of silver.
Mm-mm.
Um, where Doc came into possession of that, there's a number of cool ideas, but like the idea of that giving me advantage would be like it's in my shirt pocket or somewhere close to me. And as I begin to like succumb more to my curse, it physically burns me in a way that would maybe help me keep my composure.
Ooh. Okay. I'll take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Then I will do that and roll night move composure with advantage to not go next door and eat a bunch of people?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that would be the case because yeah, if you don't do well on this roll, you will definitely go out on a rampage, and we might have to, you know,
Yeah.
say bye bye to Doc. I don't want to say goodbye to Doc. Damn it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. We've got this. Okay, so that's composure with advantage. It's +0, so we're just. Why did I do this? That's fine. Okay, so okay, that's a 7 on the die, 4 and a 3.
Okay.
So not a failure.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that you do get hit on the head, but your curse is like saying, nope, nope, you're not gonna be um, injured as much as you could be. Although, like I said, it's going to make you react in very feral ways because, yeah, now you're a snarling, bit of a snarling beast, and you have eyes to see something in the dark above you. Um, and I think, yeah, I mean, like you're just more feral looking, and you're out for blood. Maybe not necessarily the humans out at the bar, but like now
Mhm,
now you're searching actively for the thing that has attacked you.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
all right, we'll deal with that 7 in a minute. Okay, back to Lord James and Whitmore. So you've rowed out to the middle of the Thames, and then like you're in the middle of this patch of glowing light right now. Um, Whitmore, I imagine you're still singing. Uh, Lord James, what are you doing?
I am putting on the opal encrusted ritual moon mask.
Ooh,
And steadying the boat and holding the stone statue and kind of like offering it up kind of like next to Whitmore as Whitmore sings, kind of like, you know, here it is. So that if they're underwater they can kind of see it.
okay. Um, hmm.
And I'm just wearing the mask because it seems like uh it seems like a ritual, and it also might hide our identities from earlier, the tussle on the shore.
Yeah.
And also, if I have to mark a mask, I've already got this mask ready, loaded up, and ready to go.
Okay. Fictionally positioning. All right, gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna make you I can't decide whether because I know it's going to pull up and try to take a grab at the statue in your hand, but there's a very big possibility that it may take more than just the statue. It may take you along with it. So, night move with vitality? Yeah.
And what I'm afraid is going to happen, I'm afraid that the glowing thing underwater is not these fish creatures. Instead, it's their rod, which is this massive bioluminescent, like kraken-like creature, and the boat will be like, you know, from Knox's perspective, it'll look really cool as the tentacles wrap around the boat. From Whitmore
Yes.
and Lord James Campbell-Hughes, yeah, it's probably pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's gonna be like a pretty big angler fish type of thing where
Oh,
it's like the bulb will come out, like the lit bulb will come out of the
I love it.
water, and you'll think that's the thing, but it's not the thing because yes, it'll drag the boat and you two down.
Okay. I'm using the dice roller here, and what is Lord James Campbell Hughes's vitality 1? Looks like.
And
Um,
were you going to take advantage with the mask?
yes, I'm marking the mask.
Okay.
It looks like it looks like it's a 10. A
Okay.
4, a 5 plus 1 is a 10.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Thanks for that mask, Bob.
All right. So with the 10, I'm gonna say that it will, like, there's a bulbous stalk that comes out of the water. It is as big as a lantern, like at the end of it, and I think you get the sense of, like, once it's out of the water and lighting up what's underneath, you realize that the boat, you two are on top of this big thing, the head of whatever the heck this is. And then it'll kind of like do a shift and turn, and you see these big bulbous eyes and lots of teeth. And you see it, like, kind of speak underwater. And since it is underwater, you kind of understand it as it floats up on bubbles. And it says, "You summon me? What do you have to offer?"
We have what was taken from your people. It was culturally appropriated by an entertainment industry, which I personally have grown to loathe in this city. And so we're returning this valuable sacred idol to you, so that you may end your searches, you may end your quest, and you may go back to whatever grotto that you grace with your presence.
Bubbles rise. How do I know it's not going to be stolen again?
You're going to increase your security and double the guard, and probably place some pretty intricate traps. That's what you're going to do.
Bubbles rise, but instead of words, it's laughter. Presume too much, human. But I accept. And the anglerfish lantern part will kind of like bob and weave, kind of like as if it's appraising the statue in your hand. And then there are stalk tendrils that will come out of the water and reach for the idol. I'm assuming you hand it off.
Oh yeah. And then you know, quit more. Grab the other grab the other oars.
And Whitmore, do you stop singing?
Whitmore wouldn't stop singing until we are until Lord James Campbell-Hughes has the oars and has made like not the first, like a couple of good strokes to get us started towards land
Mm-hmm.
before coming out of the song, out of breath, just looking at Lord James Campbell-Hughes. This is why we don't skip choir practice day.
It's a good thing you didn't, man. Did you see the size of that beast?
I mean, like,
No.
the stalk tendrils are still kind of waving a little bit as they ploop into the water, and then the angler lantern like also dips into the water as well. But because of the speed of how they're doing it, there's kind of like a wave that kind of like builds up, especially because of the huge thing that they were attached to. And then I think the wake of it will upset the boat, um or near that. You feel the swell like coming up underneath you, and then it, like, it's rocking the boat quite violently.
Whitmore would yell to Lord, or yell is the wrong, is too strong of a word. Whitmore would request kindly that Lord James Campbell-Hughes get low in the boat, attempting to prevent it from capsizing while also pulling in both oars at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around to see if Knox is if we could like start heading towards where Knox is up on the pier.
Yeah,
Get
he's lifted up another lantern and he's kind of like doing that wave thing of like, here I am, sir. Yeah.
Get low first so the boat doesn't capsize, Lord James Campbell-Hughes, and then we can make it to shore after the waves subside. And Whitmore would like to attempt to pull Lord James Campbell-Hughes down into the boat, pretending that it's for safety and not for a quick moonlight lie down in a boat in under the moon. Exactly what I expected.
Yeah.
Capsizing boat.
Keep
Well.
rolling, keep rolling. Let's get the heck out of here. Make a note of this. Hargrave House needs some kind of ironclad vessel, some type of
I will add
armament to fight a beast such as that if they come back.
I will add that to your wish list. One Ironside, along with dragon slaying sword, all of the fire, and Victor's request for this isn't enough knives.
Speaking of Victor, so you have faced down your alternate mirror self person, and this woman has come up um, behind the mirror, applauding you. What do you do?
Did she introduce herself? I forget.
She did not. No.
And Victor goes, so who do I have the pleasure of meeting after such a surprising turn of events?
Hmm. Your Lord James Campbell-Hughes knows me. He's known me and of me for quite some time.
And I think Victor is looks more surprised than when he saw the other version of himself in this moment. Because in this moment, he didn't realize just how dangerous this person is. Almost like her ability to go unnoticed is so significant. And so as she appears, Victor just at this moment just like enters a stance with his hatchets up, pointed at them.
Is that really necessary? I am merely admiring your prowess. You seem very capable.
Victor will begin to circle this woman, looking around, trying to take in if there's anyone else here. Victor will say, you are one of the most dangerous things this city holds. I am ashamed that I find myself unprepared for meeting you.
Dangerous. There are far more dangerous things than me living in that house you call Hargrave. Ask Lord Campbell-Hughes what I mean by that. I'm sure he'll know. I merely want to go home. And there are many
And
ways to do it.
I assume the methods you're going to choose to go home, they don't involve a peaceful resolution without much collateral.
Depends on who puts themselves in my way. But You don't have to be one of those people. It seems that Manasanitra had offered you a chance to be more than you are. Although, you've proved yourself again much better than even that. Break away. Break away from your legacy. Be something more than you are. That is all anyone can ask for. Yes?
The offer to be more than I already am is an interesting one, because a lot of people assume that this legacy that holds me is something I regret having. I'm sure you, and Victor looks closely at them, know something about legacy yourself.
I may. I have a long history with all sorts. But that is neither here nor there. I am here to just check up on things, see the progression of transformation. People transform here. People, again, become more than they are.
After finished with your plans, will London stay standing? Will the London we know stay standing?
And she will slowly bring her hands out from underneath her cloak. And then you see her pull her arms out further from her sleeves and kind of shake them loose. What you see are what look like burns on her delicate skin. See these? These were done by a very naughty, naughty queen. And I, perhaps, will leave my revenge for only that queen. Or, perhaps, if there's any, as you say, collateral damage, then it's only right in my path of revenge. No one gets away with doing this to me.
You, they are so fickle. You are some of the most interesting creatures, people, us, the great families, have to deal with. It's interesting because very often we're never really at odds. You just seem to always end up in a position where either people get hurt or you meet our blades. It's always regrettable every time it plays out like this. I'm sure whatever happens next, at the very least, I'll try to make it interesting for you.
As I will for all of you, especially Lord Campbell-Hughes. And her smile gets very feral, when she says that. And from the shadows, from behind the mirror, you see the very tall figure unfold of Cobweb. Woman in a white man's suit and two very sharp-looking flensing knives. Should I take care of him now, mistress, or should I wait to have fun later? And then she holds up a hand, like Titania will hold up a hand. No, no. Fun for later. Mr. Armstrong here wants to enjoy the cirque. Let him have his fun now. We will, of course, meet again quite soon, I'm sure. And Cobweb will do a gesture with the knives just to kind of be like...
I think Victor looks up and down the woman. He will look at Cobweb and then do a full bow towards the woman and will go. It's been a pleasure, Your Majesty.
Her laugh is like the tinkling of crystal bells. Such a polite boy. It will be a pleasure to do battle soon.
The Fae always love their pleasantries, sometimes to deadly extents.
And let's go to the next unseen. Paul, the next two cards drawn are the Five of Swords, typically associated with violence, and the Fool, which represents the beginning of a journey. Continue the fortune teller's card reading.
The fortune teller will take out a card and lay it down on the table. Go like, oh. All right. Takes out another card, puts it down on the table, and goes like, ooh. Do you want to know what these cards mean? Be honest with yourself, Lydia. Would you like to know what these cards mean? Most fortune tellers are but charlatans within this city. But I can let you know that by knowing what these cards' significance is, you are resigning yourself to the fate they put before you. Lydia looks a little wide-eyed, a little bit more afraid. And there's like a slight nod from her. All right then. This first card is the Five of Swords. Very violent card. And this is the Fool, which symbolizes the start of a journey. Now, you came here asking about a son of a wealthy industrialist and a chimney sweep. It's unfortunate that you've been stringing both of them along. And it seems like they found out about each other, Lydia. What kind of journey you're about to go on. I can't tell you the exact details, but it's about to be an interesting one. And they pull out another card.
Amazing. Doc, I think you spot with your senses, especially the more cursed ones, I think you spot like a figure of sorts up in the rafters, in the gods. Usually it would take a bit to get up there, but I think in your current state, it's like I think you're taking the straightest way possible, which is just up, using claws, perhaps, parkouring your way up the wall to get to this person.
Mm-hmm. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That or throwing something.
Mm.
If there's anything around, maybe a, I don't
Sandbag,
know,
sandbag ballast that was dropped on your head.
sandbag ballast could be right there. Yeah. We're on a
Mm-hmm.
stage too. There could be like, I don't know, weapons for stage fighting.
Yeah. But yeah, tell me what you want to do as this wraith is like laughing at you.
Uh, I'm gonna, I think again, trying to follow the fiction of this is not Doc in his right mind necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And my decisions have forced me to make in-character decisions that are even worse decisions than my normal in-character decisions. I'm gonna whip the sandbag right back at the Wraith. I think that is like it seems really fruitless to me, but I think that's what Doc falling deeper into the curse would do.
Okay.
Whip a sandbag and then, yeah, I guess try to scramble up there.
Okay. Alrighty. Um. Yeah, I mean, again, night move. Like,
Mhm.
as you're trading, like trying to trade blow for blow with the wraith.
Yeah.
So what are you afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
Uh, well, if we're assuming that the throwing of the sandbag works and then I scramble up there
Hmm.
in my current state, then I
Yeah.
guess falling back onto the stage. I think that like in a very simple animal way, that's probably what Doc is most worried about, like falling a a deathly amount, like taking on another wound that should kill a normal person right after just having sat back up from one of those. I think if Doc is still in there separately, I think Doc from this point on, his biggest worry is losing control and eating those guys across the street.
Sure, sure. I mean, like, cause yeah, I mean, like, you're gonna succumb to your more feral nature, absolutely. Because
Hmm.
I think what's gonna happen is that the wraith knows this theater inside and out, so has trapped some of the panels even on the wall for just such a wonderful emergency. And so therefore it's like, when you're trying to go up the wall, maybe you hit the wrong thing or you grab onto the wrong panel and you go
Hmm.
to the stage below. If I want to be really mean, I'd even say like, he has a trap door prepared and you're going into the sub basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
better than death. Sub basement sounds interesting, but yeah, falling a great distance either to the ground or a sub basement sounds right to me. So what is this? Is this vitality? Is this
Oh God, this is so
sensitivity? Because
vitality.
I'm okay.
No, it's just so vitality.
Okay, so we will need to remove one of these. +1. Hey, there we go. That's a 10.
Nice. Okay. So you throw the bag up. Um, and I think what it does is it dislodges the trap. So it actually will create like the panel falls and will create not a ladder but a ramp for you to make it easier for you to grab onto like the higher wall and then be able to clamber up after this person, ghost thing, whatever. And yeah, uh, he is. I think you'll see what looks like a cloaked figure, and he starts to run. Uh, with your human eyes, you wouldn't have seen it before, but I think you're able to spot like there's pieces here that are turning into ramps or walkways where there weren't any before. Like could have just been like just guy ropes or just ladders that were strung up here. But no, they're creating pathways for this person thing. And he kind of just like kind of looks over his shoulder real quick, and you get a glimpse of a mask. And he kind of sneers at you and says, "Ha! So we have awakened the beast. Well, you'll have to chase me, monster. Chase me until you are dust for those below, as I reach above into the gods." And chases on. Let's go over to Lord James Campbell-Hughes and Whitmore. You make it to shore after like the swells almost knock the boat over. But Abel Knox is there to kind of like, go into the surf a little bit and like kind of help drag you back in. Oh, that was incredible, sir. Oh my God. Did you see it? What did it look like?
It's not for the eyes of mere mortals to view upon. I'm not even sure now. It's the memory of the thing is starting to fade. I can't hold on to it. What did you see?
I saw those great big stalks come out of the water. The one with the wavy lantern thing, and then like the things that grab what you had in your hand, sir.
What thing in Lord James Campbell-Hughes's hands? We just went out for a lovely evening boat ride down the Thames.
Did you
Mr.
get
Knox,
knocked
are
on
you?
your head? Did you get knocked on your head, Mr. Whitmore? What?
The
Mr. Knox,
mist play tricks on your mind. And as we're talking, we're pulling the boat up and I'm taking off the moon mask and we're walking back up to the carriage. And I thank Mr. Knox for his vigilance and his assistance. And if ever he needs something from Hargrave House, do not hesitate. But he's kind of in a rush to get out of here, and he's not wanting to like chit chat with Knox.
Before you guys leave, though, I mean, like he'll clutch at the door of the carriage when you pull it closed and say, "But is the creature gone, sir? Will it be back?"
Lord James Campbell-Hughes has taken care of the creature, Mr. Knox. So long as you don't go diving into the Thames, you didn't see anything emerge from it, and no one else will go missing. Leave whatever's down there alone. They won't bother you, and you won't bother the nothing that's down the river. Lord James Campbell-Hughes has made sure of that.
He bangs his
not-
walking stick on the carriage, and it pulls off. And I Lord James Campbell Hughes turns to Whitmore and says, "The night is still young, Whitmore. I'm off to Buckingham Palace. Do you want to accompany me, or do you want to? Or do you have other affairs tonight?"
The player really wants to spend more time with Lord James Campbell-Hughes and see the Queen. I feel like Whitmore has zero interest in actually meeting the Queen.
Oh, we probably won't see the Queen. No, I have to deliver a message to the Queen, but I think I've only seen her, Whitmore, maybe 4 times in my entire adult life. So it's not probably going to happen. She sleeps, and she has a lot of middle management.
That's
She-
still more times than I've seen her.
She knighted you, she gave you some medals, whatever, mountaintop, all that kind of stuff. So, okay,
She barely knows my name.
right.
But she still knows the glory that is Lord James Campbell-Hughes. I will accompany you, sir. Spend some more time. And Whitmore won't finish that sentence.
Just out of curiosity, when you head to Buckingham Palace, are you going to, mind you, it's nighttime, I don't know, different entrance, like front entrance? What are you doing? Like,
I don't.
cool.
He knows where to. He's probably going to like the secure, like where they have like the what are the Coldstream guards, the foot soldiers, those guys that do all the riding around on horses and all that. He's probably going there to the military entrance, and he's really just going to pass off this letter to whatever sergeant major is in charge there that will get the letter to her Lord Chamberlain. Like he's not planning on actually meeting the Queen.
Got it.
And I'll drop the letter. Excuse me, I can drop it in the Discord or this chat. Which would you prefer?
You can go ahead and drop it in the Discord. That way, it's like it's excuse me,
Okay, yeah, that's a good-
someplace where
that's
we
a
can
good-
all see it.
I'll actually read it really quickly.
Yeah, please do.
This is
But I
the
mean, like,
letter
again,
that
just to
Paul
hear
and I
have it in
talked
one
about
place.
last time.
Okay.
It's fancy. It says, Your Majesty, I write to you with dire tidings. Our foe from the realm of the Fae, Titania, is here in London. Even though her powers have been diminished here, she has been causing quite a bit of mayhem to the streets of London through theater, supernatural entities, and general mind-altering tampering with reality. Hargrave House believes she is close to executing her master plan, and we know for certain she has a cadre of formidable servants. I sound like Kenny Powers. Formidable servants and items of power that may be beyond Hargrave House, even the REC's powers to protect you in our fair city. We do not have the contacts, but our Victor Armstrong believes, Your Majesty, you may be able to enlist the aid of other great houses of hunters of evil, such as the Van Helsings, the Revias, the Alrumi, and the Winchesters. If we could enlist in the aid of at least one or two of these specialists, it will help us combat Titania, what Titania plans to deploy. As always, I would defer to Your Majesty's better judgment if Your Majesty has other resources to bolster our efforts. Your dutiful and dedicated servant, the Duke of Kent, Lord James Campbell-Hughes.
Nice. Very cool. So, yeah, I think the soldier or sergeant, whoever, takes the letter, understands that this is of utmost national security. So, yeah. God save the Queen, as he says. You're on mute.
Rightly so, my good man. And then I tell the carriage, just go slowly. Could you go slowly out front? Whitmore here hasn't got to take in Buckingham Palace. Go the scenic route.
And I'm not sure which view Whitmore appreciates more. Buckingham Palace itself, or looking back at the expression of the man who's giving him this experience. Lord James Campbell-Hughes' silhouette, silvered hair and monocle gleaming in this full moonlight.
He does like a little salute when it comes to a flag.
Of course.
Every 15 feet or so, the carriage comes to a stop. Lord James Campbell-Hughes gets out, salutes, and we continue on.
Right. And
Yeah,
then
he does some saluting probably.
and then I think that's when we fade into the scene back at the circus. Yeah, I think they recede into the background, and if you do decide to try and follow them, like, you'll discover that there's an exit from that particular recess in the tent, and they're gone. Victor, what do you do now?
I think Victor will try to I assume the small child that he met is getting very impatient at the chair they are saving for Victor, so Victor will try to look for that chair and sit next to them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, she's actually like sitting there, and she's animatedly like talking to that Clarence person that you were briefly introduced to, and she absentmindedly pats the other chair next to her, and continue her conversation, like regaling Clarence with all the things that she saw and did, and she takes licks of her lolly as she's patting the seat next to her. For you, Victor. For you, Victor Armstrong. Armstrong family.
Yes.
I was right, you are a spy.
No, I'm not a spy. Not this time, I'm not.
But
I have been a spy before. I'm not one of the better ones. They usually send the more subtle ones of my family to go. I get too impatient at some point in time.
you're also too noticeable.
That's very true.
Your
Yes.
clothes look very obvious.
Yes. Yes, I've been told this before. And I've also told my family to not leave me in such clandestine missions. They believe that the more they put me into them, eventually I will learn my lesson. Take it in upon myself to prove them wrong every time while completing the job I am provided. You young ladies seem to have been in this circus or involved with a circus for quite some time now. Any juicy bits, the real circus behind the circus?
Ooh. For that, you need to talk to Mr. Murasil here. And she's gesturing like as she's taking like like random licks of her lollipop, which doesn't seem to have gone down any since since you left her. But I mean like Clarence is next to her and again kind of shifting his eyes back and forth like as he's watching you two talk, and he pulls out his notebook and kind of like riffles through the pages. Yes. Let's see, what do I have here? Well, I really, I have to tell you, I really think that Manasanitya, the ringleader of this circus, I believe that she is a former Indian queen, stripped of her lands, nobility, following the mandate of the British East India Company's policy for the doctrine of lapse, and now, by night, she's staging the resistance against the British Raj from the very grounds of this Cirque National. Yes.
I think Victor will firmly grasp the shoulders of this man and just goes, "Come on, man. Who cares if she's a previously Indian queen? Something juicier, something supernatural, something more interesting than that."
Let me take a look. Information move, please, with presence. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't think I have any items
Okay.
appropriate for this.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't think dynamite will really do anything here. Polished engagement ring. I don't think in this particular instance. So yeah, 2d6 presence will be a +2. Okay. Let me
Okay.
see. Boop, and then roll. Oof. That is snake eyes, but I will mark a mask to get a partial success. And because of the new move I took, which is this hunt is a lonely one. During the night phase, I will get one additional clue on the investigation move, including on a miss, so long as there are no other hunters present. So I will still get the partial success, so I'll get 2 clues from this,
No
I
problem.
believe.
Okay, so you bumped it up to a 7 to 9, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alrighty. And I also want to remind you all that the 2 masks associated with this threat are still available. Okay. And he's like riffling through his notes again. It's like for some reason it's like there's also an association with the Bacchae, right? The tragedy of the Bacchae, in which a mother spears her hubristic son's head. I mean, yes, there's some legends associated with this sort of thing, but I mean, where'd that come from? What? And that is the clue: the tragedy of the Bacchae, in which a mother spears her hubristic son's head. So that's one clue. And then I think as you're talking, or as Clarence is looking over his notes and trying to give you something fun and juicy, I think Matilda will like kind of tug at your sleeve or your jacket and like kind of take a lick of her lolly and like look at you with wide eyes and say, let's see. She's going to say that,
And he didn't even tell you the most interesting part. I was like going to all the games in the front, and what I kept on seeing, and I don't know if it's something for the decoration of the cirque, but it seems strange. And I kept seeing the card, that the tarot card with the two naked people together.
and that's the clue. The Lover's Tarot appears again and again.
Well, that is very interesting, young lady.
Yeah, you can see the
And-
motif right there, see?
And then, like, she points at the, what is it? The ring, the
Mhm.
main ring, like where they set up the boxes, the taller box, and then the flat box where, we can assume that Uman was, placed.
Yeah.
But then like underneath the boxes, you can sort of see the outline of what looks like a couple on, drawn in the dirt and sand.
Very interesting. Are
Yes.
Now, young lady, are you sure you're old enough to be watching a show like this with those kinds of themes instead? Very adult themes.
I'm 8 years and a quarter years old.
Hmm.
Yes. I'm old enough.
Are you mature enough?
She kind of like puts both hands on her hips and says,
I'm mature enough. I'm with you, aren't I?
Little madame, most of the people I hang out with are the most immature people in the world. Very deadly, but very immature.
Oh. Well, anyway, she has animals here. I'm not going to stay away from the animals.
Okay. All right. If you get too scared,
I'll clutch you. Yes.
very good. Here.
I'll hug
yes,
your
I was,
arm.
Oh, I was give you a weapon, but that's fine also.
A weapon. What kind
Weapon,
of weapon?
a knife.
Ooh.
Like to hold a knife?
it's like she just kind of gives you that look over her lolly and says,
Yes.
It's very sharp, and he and the child the knife.
"Is it the same knife that you gave Melody?"
No, I
No,
think
she
Victor
kept that
just,
one. Never mind.
Yeah, I think there's Victor just to give people he meets knives. I think he gave the street urchin one, Mel, like kind of just like, yeah, it's nice to meet you, friend.
And she just kind of like, like one hand has the lolly. She takes a lick of it. She takes a look at the knife.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Very pretty. Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
And then, yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to the last unseen as the glint of the knife shines at the end of the scene. Oh my gosh. Jeremy, the last card drawn is the devil, representing the seduction of the material world and other earthly pleasures. Continue your reading and then tell Lydia definitively what she must do.
Fortune teller does not ask for permission to continue with the reading. Lydia's already given it. The devil gets played on the table far too quickly, as if it wasn't the future, but just a simple playing card. And the face of Lydia drops as the devil sits before her. And the fortune teller begins to speak. The seduction of the choice unmade will claw at you. You will not be happy with either man, regardless of who you choose. The devil within you will force your hand. The Five of Swords makes it clear you will kill whoever you marry in jealousy of the life the other man would offer you. You will spend your longing days wandering as the fool does. The passion within you is not comparable to the jealousy that that devil will contain. The fortune teller quickly takes all of the tarot cards and shuffles them back into the deck. Miss Wainwright, if you truly love either man, you will abandon both of them and leave them. You will not be happy with your choices. You are destined to be alone.
Thank you. Alrighty. Lord James Whitmore, where do you go after you take the scenic tour around
We
Buckingham?
head to the night tap for one quick investigative move that we only can do at night,
Yep.
because I think the night tap can only be accessed during the night.
That is true.
And I'm hoping to see um, some of the theater people from The King in Shadows, like that Miss Linton, one of those if one of those characters is there. Um, Maybe the actress that plays her. I don't know. I know this is a weird reality warping spot,
Hmm.
but uh, I want to go there and do like an investigation move and have a beer, or and
Okay.
maybe get one more clue about this the circus because of and because of the theater connection.
Sure. Sure.
And I think Whitmore's been here before. I think, yeah, you came here
Yep.
with we brought the Russian guy here.
Yep.
Ah, yes, it's true. All right, so you're back at the night tap, and the bartender with the with the nondescript face will like slide you both like your favorite drink, whatever it is, your usual, sir.
I look at Whitmore and I'm like, and when I can't sleep, I always come here. This is a great place for insomnia. Um, I think time functions different here. And he's looking for somebody in the crowd. And as he's scanning around, we see the gargoyle from our first threat. The gargoyle is like smoking a cigar and is like drinking like a pitcher of beer. And then I'm scanning the crowd, and then I see Miss Linton. What's her first? I can't remember her name. The theater manager, former actor lady.
Oh, the King in Shadows.
Yeah,
Oh, I do not remember. I'm sorry, I don't have it up.
her last name was Litton for sure.
Okay.
Litton.
Well, I mean, like, yeah. So she glides up. It's like, oh, Lord Campbell-Hughes. Pleasure.
Oh yeah, I'm still a great um, patron of the arts, although this last season has taken its toll. Some of the productions are like, they're very they're a little bit avant-garde for my own taste. But what can you tell me about this Cirque National? Do you have you as a theater manager, have you noticed anything about these folks?
Oh, well, the theater is a bit different than an actual traveling circus, I'm sure. And we have at least human actors to emote and speak words of great bards, of course. I don't really know anything about necessarily the circus. Only what I've heard and only what I've seen from the papers. Let's see. Go ahead and roll. Information move, please.
I'm just looking to see if there's something I could use to boost it, but
Right.
I don't see anything really.
Okay.
I have the gold mask of the night tap, but I don't want to burn all my mask in one night.
Sure.
Let's see.
You mentioned that the gargoyle was sitting in the corner.
Yeah, but don't talk to him.
No, you do have the gargoyle's claw in your personal quarters.
That's what I do. I think there's a rule that if you like make eye contact with them, they get up and leave or something. I can't remember the rules. Let's see. Presence is 2. Using the die roller to roll it. It gives me a 9, but I am going to use a mask to bump it all the way up
Okay.
to a 10.
Okay.
And I'm not going to use one of the threat masks.
Okay.
Because I've got one I want to do for Mask of the Past.
Okay. Mask of Past. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? This is for the beetle.
Yeah. If she's like her patrons of her theater say anything about this Cirque National, like
Yes. I think she's going to think really hard, and she's going to say, all I've heard is just strange speculation and rumor, but there seems to be a fascination with love of a sort and transformation, because there was a story told as part of one of the acts. Not, of course, the big spectacle that they have scheduled for tonight. This is something that they have been doing. But there was an acrobatics act that they were performing. And it was a take on Love's Origin by Aristophanes. And she describes the formation that they made, and it looked like a conjoined couple, 4 arms and legs, 1 head and 2 faces. They were twisting in the air, and it was almost as if when they were spinning that they were turning into this merged person, or 2 people merged in strange ways. It was very odd. I had not seen the show myself, but this is what I had heard, and considering after The King in Shadows, I was willing to accept anything for a premise.
I'll drink to that.
And I think, like, if you all have mugs or whatever, like, you can definitely toss them back for sure. Whitmore, are you doing anything while you're here in the night tap? Just want to give you an opportunity.
The gargoyle.
So the gargoyle gives me an idea. If this space is truly filled with, like, I presume that the Russian diplomat is here, and all of the threats that we vanquished somehow managed to find their way here.
It's got a neutral space. You can call it that. Sure.
Can Whitmore look to see who's in line to get in. Potentially to see if to try and glimpse the future from the patrons, to see if the Wraith and the circus ringleader are waiting to come into this space of vanquished foes. I'm aware it's far out there and wholly unrealistic, but it sounds like the kind of thing a flight of fancy would take.
I can give you a clue, but it may not be the one that you're thinking of. But you're welcome to roll and see if you do. And are you rolling on the Beetle or are you rolling on West End Wraith?
You know what? I'll look to see if I can find the Wraith amongst the people here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Which stat?
Oh, sorry. Reason, because like you're kind of like trying to make observations.
Sounds good. In that case, that is a 10. I would like to ask the group a question, including you, Mads. It is a 10 on an information move. We could get the final mastermind clue right here and now. I ask the group for your thoughts.
I am perfectly willing and able to give another mystery, another threat to round out your campaign before the big mastermind. But I mean, again, it's like
That's
leave
why
it
I'm
up to you
asking the
guys.
group at large.
Yep. What do you want to do?
I'm fine with it. This seems like this is a weird enough, the King in the Shadows is so like, breaks the fourth wall, is like a really strange place. So this seems like a good place to do that.
Okay.
Yep, I agree that fits.
Alrighty.
I'm
So
okay with it.
Okay, so you're gonna bump it up with a mask, or you're gonna like leave it alone. It's up to you. I mean, like, again,
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Well, Daniel, I do agree that it does fit. I don't think it fitting is a good enough reason to not do one more threat. I will not use a mask.
Okay.
You're the one that brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. So with a 10, let's see what do we give you for the West End Wraith. There's a crowd of people here. They're pressing, strange and ordinary alike. They're all here. And I think you will see what looks like a hooded figure that seems to have a mysterious silhouette. And their features are covered over in the hood with a mask, a sock and buskin mask. And you're trying to get through this crowd to get to him or whatever, or them. And they are hemming you in. They're pressing against you and making it very difficult. They're not even heeding that you're trying to get through. And I think when you finally get to the space where you saw this hooded figure, they're gone, but there's a little low table that seems to have what looks like a script on it. And when you thumb through this script, Whitmore, it's a script bearing an uncanny resemblance up to the last page of the current situation. There you are in the night tap, your lines talking with Lord James Campbell-Hughes.
Knowing Whitmore's love of books, he's going to read the entire script here in the night tap. And not tell anyone at Hargrave House what happens next. But be excited for it.
Awesome. Okay. And then Doc, you have, speaking of Wraith, yeah, I think you've gotten close enough where you can see this person thing, and it is on the other side of what looks like a ladder that's flat, that's horizontal, like the walkway that they nimbly, like, got through, and they are on the other side on a platform and just yelling at you through their whole face mask. And it's like, come, beast, come, meet your end here, on the stage, in the air. Do you dare?
That rhyme's intimidating. The way you're describing it does the mask seem to be more corporeal than the rest of the Wraith, at least like now in this moment?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Well, again, still operating under the fiction that Doc is, possessed more of his curse.
Hmm.
I think um he I don't know if I get a bonus from this. It's just something I see in my personal quarters that just makes sense, like a thing that Doc maybe would have put in his pocket that now reflexively he's gonna throw at the Wraith in its face, like as if to
Okay.
try to knock off its mask. It's the piece of glowing yellow rock found near Three Mills Island.
Oh no. Yeah, yeah, if you really want to use it, sure, you'd mark it
I
off and
do.
then you take advantage with it, sure.
Okay.
Vitality, because you're trying to throw something.
Okay. How does it work when I have advantage because of a move and advantage because of using a thing, but also disadvantage because of drained?
I'm gonna hand wave the rules. So one of your advantages takes care of the disadvantage, so you can roll with advantage. Yay.
Okay, cool. I would have been fine either way, just to be clear, but I dig it. I will roll with that. So advantage. That is 10. 5, 4 plus 1.
Nice. All right. Tell me what happens when you chuck the rock against uh, the wraith, and I will tell you, perhaps, what you see.
Uh, there's a lot of things that are running through my mind. I kind of want the mask to, in my head, you add and change where you see fit. But in my head, it's like the rock would go through the wraith, but it also does weird stuff. And so I think it kind of like dissipates the wraith in that moment, right? Like kind of like disappears in the background. But I thought it'd be cool if like clattering to the floor falls the physical version of that mask with just like a weird burn hole right in the center of it where the rock passed through.
So funny that you say that, because that is your clue. A
Awesome.
matte black porcelain mask depicting the face. Well, you don't really know which one it is because the rock disfigured it. It's either comedy or tragedy. So there you go.
Awesome.
And Victor. And that's where we leave the scene, is where it's like the mask is smoking from its disfigurement from the rock, and it is on the floor,
Yeah. I think
gleaming.
Doc just kind of falls back onto his butt and is like clutching his head, taking deep breaths, dealing with now the problem of maybe getting a bit more back to himself.
Yep. All right. And yeah, Victor, you're sitting there and you are seeing you're seeing Manasa and Nitya getting up and welcoming everyone to the big top. I'm not gonna like fully role play because that would take too long. Anyway, so and then she claps for her attendants. She claps for the audience to see the spectacle, the transformation of people that want to be more of themselves and possibly find that in love. And she has the attendants whip the covers off of the boxes, and in one box is the kind of skittery form of Uman, and then in the other box is, well, in the other box, it's dark in there. It's deep. But then coming out from the sides, you see or you hear a click as I don't even know what they're called. The leg talon comes out, and then another, and then another, and then another. And then a face appears out of the darkness, looking like a regular human, until they smile at the audience, showing fangs going up and then fangs going down. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Okay, so let me see. All right. So in the interest of time, let's see. There are rewards for Creature of Cremorne. Let me see. I think I pasted them in here. And they're real simple, so this should be fine. For Creature of Cremorne, Greco can be consulted via dreams on an ongoing basis. Only a hunter with the Cosmic Passage marked can take this reward, and only if they spoke with Greco. Okay. And then the rest of it is a memento from the investigation. Ask another hunter what it is, and then add it to your personal quarters. So I think Victor was the only one that spoke to Greco. Do you have the Cosmic Passage marked?
It is not marked.
Fudge. So I guess it's a memento from the investigation. Nuts.
Well, in that case, after a long debate, Whitmore's going to take a memento from the investigation. Bob, I'd like Doc to tell me what it is.
It is a waterlogged hat from one of the patrons at the big dance that was happening. I think the night that the three of us, Lord James Campbell-Hughes and Whitmore and Doc, were all separately kind of investigating different areas of Cremorne Gardens. So a
Excellent.
very expensive, very wet hat.
I'll take a memento. And how about from Paul?
You have a very heavy bowling ball.
Very heavy what?
Bowling ball, the bowling saloon.
We're going to fire that out of a cannon.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh, I have no doubt. That's exactly what my first thought was too. Like Lord James Campbell-Hughes was gonna shoot that out of a cannon. Uh, we're doing the round robin. Daniel, would you do me the honor of telling me what memento Doc has?
I'm going to say Doc has 2 dance tokens for the pavilion.
Ooh, I love that.
Oh my God. That's great.
Jeremy, what is Victor?
Weapons would be too easy. You've got a set of tarot cards from that fortune teller you visited. Half the set is missing.
Thank you.
Nice. Alrighty. To keep it quick, let's see. Hunters did resolve a threat. Hunters answered a question, obviously, during dusk phase, so take points for those. And then, did you experience an echo in the night? If you think you did, please mark it off and add that experience to your tally. And then if you enacted either or both of your dawn questions in this past cycle, then please mark them off and take those points. Okay. And then go ahead and change your dawn questions if you so choose. Again, I think most of you have finished up all of your advancements, so it's merely for fictional positioning and for funsies for doing dawn questions at this point. Okay. And then for Victor, yeah, I'm gonna take an O. Take an O for this for the resolve of this threat. And then also an X for the fight with your mirror image, your mirror reverse. And ask for those marks, ask 2 of your fellow hunters what indicates the beast is near.
Bob, what is a clue that Victor gets that the beast grows closer?
I forget what my last one was, but I apologize in advance if it also had to do with animals reacting to you differently, because I feel like it might have been. But I think birds are very afraid of you now. Like they avoid you. You walk into a square full of pigeons popping around and they all just bolt.
Very good. And Daniel, what is a clue Victor gets that the beast grows ever closer?
What was the last part of that?
What is a clue that Victor gets grows ever closer?
I think at the circus, like you kept out of the corner of your eye, you kept seeing movement on the other sides of tents walking parallel with you. Like out of the corner of your eye, you see like shadows moving parallel with you behind the tents.
All right. Given that, yeah, I mean, stars and wishes. Stars, things you loved about today's session, each other, gameplay, and then wishes, what you'd like to see for the future. I'm going to say it like, off the bat, and I'll probably keep saying it until it happens. I want to see the night thing where, the fail on the quickening. I want to see the American hang out with somebody for the night phase. Even if it doesn't happen until the mastermind threat, I don't care. We need to see that before we're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop getting advantage on that roll. I also want to see it once before.
I mean, you still got plenty of opportunity. You
Totally.
You're
The
gonna have three.
Cruel's the Heartless Curse is good for other stuff too. I've been kind of using it regularly, like every other one, to try to get advantage on the roll. But yeah, I'm on board with that and am going to be restricting my use in hopes of encouraging it.
Yeah, you got 3 threats still, so or you're going to have 3 threats still to worry about. So yeah, there's going to be ample opportunity for sure. All right, great. And then stars for, oh my gosh, everybody's characters were really in fine form tonight, so I appreciate that. And yeah, sorry for throwing all those night moves at you, Doc, but not sorry because it was like really, really cool to see him right on that knife's edge for the cursed. And then Victor, your very poised handling of Titania, but yet also not violent, you know? And then, you're dealing with your mirror universe person. And then Whitmore and Lord James, always the dynamic duo, but how funny it was to just, like, see it like almost a domestic moment with going around Buckingham Palace. Love that. So.
Oh, go ahead, Doc.
Okay. So in almost a direct response to yours, Star Mads for going a really cool direction with that fail. I loved that direction. I thought it put stress on Doc in some cool ways. And then I got to narrate the cool thing of like someone getting hit in the head so hard they die, but then they get up and just like straighten their neck and keep going. Thank you for everything about that. Let's see. I loved for Lord James Campbell-Hughes just the letter to Buckingham Palace, getting that together and like pre-doing it. Obviously, gold star has to be said. Love the prep. I really loved Whitmore's very like touching and emotional asides about like wanting to just spend time with Lord James Campbell-Hughes. I feel like those popped up like 2 or 3 times today in play, and they were just really nice. Even whether they're a reflection of Whitmore's thoughts or just like meta commentary, very, very good. And then I think tonight really drew out one of my favorite things, and it allowed me to name one of my favorite things about Victor, which is that you've interpreted in this version of the, legacy child of a monster hunting lineage as almost having meta knowledge of what monster and horror stories are. So like oh yeah, you always follow the creepy kid. Oh yeah, if I ever have kids, I'm gonna teach them how to fight a mirror version of themselves because that always I love that the way that works in general as kind of a trope and the way that you've done it really consistently, like just really good body blow, body blow, body blow. Love it. And tonight showcased that. Wishes. I want to have a moment with as we are hurtling towards the mastermind. I'd like to run into Cobweb again. I want to see how that has changed, especially in light of however I'm gonna move forward with Doc after having come really, really close to eating a bunch of guys.
I've got a bunch here. But I'm gonna echo that, Bob, that um this session was really good at showcasing a lot of the cool like cinematic things that the Between does where we're jumping around and it's just it's hard to do that in other more traditional role-playing games. Like you just don't go to Buckingham Palace, you don't do you don't do go to the circus and the Phantom of the Opera and the water, it's just it's that it really showcased that. That's a good point. So my stars are for Jeremy. I really, because I'm not really good at it. I'm always give a star for somebody that uses like a personal item that when it's assigned, I'm always like, how is he ever going to use that? And using the harpsichord tonight was really good. The way that you used it was really creative, and I wish I was better at that. And then another star for Jeremy for Whitmore playing along. Like, yeah, nothing to see here, worry not, citizen. And for Bob, I liked how you drew the Wraith out, but last time we were talking about, we really want to see the American with the Wraith, and it did not disappoint. And a star, I was, and this has been recent in some other games that I've been playing, and where people take the fail, and it's really brave. I mean, to me, it's really brave to take the fail, um, and so big star for that. And this was my first time. I don't know. I've missed a couple sessions. This is the first time I've seen the Doc's curse be more bestial in nature. So big star for that for me. For Mads, a skull to a head for a head. That was a good line from the Wraith. I like both scenes that you had with Victor, with Matilda, and then with Titania. Those are like top notch. And you scored an echo in the night for the lovers. Um, I put it in the chat, but I wanted to say good job for the echo of the night. And then the night tap is just a weird place, and it's recurring. I mean, we should use it. It's reoccurring. But then you use the script of the current situation, which is just a perfect like callback to the King in Shadows. But it's from a different. Did you make up that clue, or was it from?
It is actually from the West End Wraith. Yep.
Oh, that was perfect. That was
I
perfect.
know. There's like a lot of very, very like, spot on clues. The ones that I gave Victor from the Beetle are like very spot on for tonight. I was just like, oh my God.
It just
Great.
seemed like it was from the King of Shadows.
Yep.
And then last Paul, I like the whole concept that legacies like circuses because circuses hate legacies. And then you went around and showed us Victor winning these rigged prizes. And then the whole I already mentioned the creepy kid thing, but you called her out on smelling weird. That was good. And then I really loved the description of the alternate world skin of Victor. That was great. So that's all my stars. Wishes. I can't get any more advancements. I only have 2 REC boxes left. So I have to I won't be having lunch at the REC for a while. Like I have to hold on to those because I don't get them back. And I've got I'm running out of masks, so things are getting a little edgy for Lord James Campbell-Hughes. And my wish is just keep on going.
One question before stars and wishes. Do you not clear a box for resolving the threat?
I totally forgot about that. Thank you. I got one. I got 3 now.
Massive star for Paul, because looking back at Victor at like session 1 or 2, he was very self-centered in his mannerisms of the I'm gonna go out and punch some stuff and I don't care if it punches me out, to tonight actually thinking about I'm gonna have a family. And like you even almost correcting yourself, like, no, not it, not when, or not if, when, for having a kid. And that is not a character development I have ever seen happen in a role-playing game, where something finding Radamantha's turned a switch in you, and I absolutely love it. Star for Lord James Campbell-Hughes for starting off Men in Black with the you didn't see anything here, just because it very much felt like you knew Abel was the kind of person to go blabbing about this to others. And seconding the star for Bob of we said we wanted to see you fight the Wraith, and you used the stage beautifully. And so many stars for Mads, but the most important one is, in my opinion, for Madeline or Matilda. Just the line that broke me for a moment is he smells like a spy. That's such a childlike thing to say. And it's a delight. And I wish we'd been introduced to her, or to your portrayal of this side character earlier, because I'd love to see her team up with Victor.
Her smells and what she smelled is actually in the thread itself. So, I mean, I didn't make that up myself.
No, I thought I didn't know that, and you still did it great. As far as wishes, you know what? Screw it. I'd like to see Matilda team up with Victor. I'd love to see what happens when Victor takes the creepy child.
Yeah, a lot of stars have already been said. Star to Bob for, I don't know what's the proper way to really handle the Wraith. I feel like I really like that both Victor and Doc kind of handled it the same way, which is kind of just like ask them to show up and see what happens. It was really good to see that like mirrored scene. And started Jeremy for a very it's always interesting how you want to approach trying to like get a clue or try to activate the information move, but being like who is in line to enter here, it's such a like an interesting way to go about that. It was very good. um started Daniel and Jeremy. Whenever I see Whitmore and Lorgina Campbell-Hughes go on an adventure, it always like feels like I always see it as like covers of like Call of Cthulhu books, because it's like it's just the explorer, and then like you get like the sea captain in the background holding the lantern. It's just very like it's just like a very pulpy looking image. It's very clear. It's always good to see. And yeah, starting Mads for all like the for all the weird characters and the circus. It was fun. And very good star for the scene with the Tanya. It was super fun to do. And wishes for next time. I think nothing really in particular. Interesting to see what like. I mean, don't want to like it may or not be the final threat. But seeing what that would be is very interesting. Also, I think really the only person that has as much fictional control when this campaign ends, I think, is Bob. I was always interested to see what you're gonna pull the trigger on the one mask for the American that just activates a threat also. See, I don't know if that's ever gonna come in, but like, yeah, I was always interested to see if that was ever gonna show up for Hargrave House because it also is a very interesting mystery. But yeah, that's it for me.
All right, fantastic. So yeah, uh, goodness, we will be hitting day phase. I mean, if we want like a little like tiny intro in for next time, like maybe something happens like at the circ, and then like like Victor's not completely left hanging. No worries. And then of course I'm owed Mask of the Past from Lord James Campbell-Hughes. All right, so we'll start session with those things. Happy gaming, and I will see you next time. Alrighty, see you guys. Bye.